Hi, this is Leanne Hood from East Fairmont, and I made a short presentation on note taking made easy. Something I used to talk about with the younger kids, and I think it's an important skill. And a lot of kids are not really taught how to do it. So, here are some tips that I always used as I was in high school and college on taking notes. So, the first one, of course, is to abbreviate. A lot of this stuff is common sense, but a lot of times kids just don't think about it. So when a teacher comes in and they're talking quickly, they're not going to slow down for you, then you have to learn to do things that keep up. And the biggest thing to keep up is to abbreviate. So as the first time they mention a name, you can write out the whole name, and then every time after that, you just put their initials. So George Washington becomes GW, Abraham Lincoln becomes ABL. Used to have a European history teacher in college that would walk in, he would shuffle in, open his notebook, talk fast for 50 minutes, shut his notebook, and walk out. And the Eastern European names were just not names we were used to. So you would have names like Shevardnadze and Sangalashvili and those kind of names that you just weren't prepared for, and you had to figure out a way to write them. You couldn't write out the whole name. In fact, usually we didn't even know how to spell them anyway, so you had to figure out a way to abbreviate. The second thing is to leave out little words. The little words are not important to the main message, to the key words, so you're listening for the key words. Don't write all these little words. At, the, and, but, or, born, died. Most verbs, leave them out. They just take up time in your note taking. The next thing you want to think about using instead of those little words is symbols. If you can text message, then you can take notes. If you can leave a message for a parent at home, if somebody called on the phone and you took a message, then you can take notes, because that's all note taking is. So use symbols from texting. Think about your texting skills and the computer keyboard, the top row. You want to pay attention to those symbols on the top row and use them as you're taking notes. That replaces the little words. Keep away from writing complete sentences. You want to use short phrases. Write only what is necessary. So for instance, if a teacher is speaking about the Civil War and they're talking about the Battle of Antietam, they might say a lot more than what I'm going to say. But here's my sentence that I might say. The Battle of Antietam was the bloodiest one-day battle in American history, with 23,000 killed and wounded. Instead of writing all of that, here's my note. Antietam battle, 23,000 killed or wounded. That's the important thing out of that sentence. I don't need to write anything more than that, and neither do you. Okay, taking notes from teachers and videos. Each one of these can be a little bit different. The teachers, if they write it on the board, you write it. Now that seems like common sense, but I had a lot of kids that would just kind of sit and look at you as you were writing things, and they weren't writing it down. So if the teacher is telling you to take notes, if they write it, you write it. If they repeat a word, you write it. So if they say osmosis, and osmosis again, and osmosis again, you make sure you write the word down. When watching videos, if words flash up on the screen, make sure you write those down. If the teacher pauses the video and wants to have more of a discussion, then you should be writing down the discussion, because they obviously took enough time to pause and talk about it. That means they think it's important. Okay, written sources are a little more complicated just because they're so long. So when you're taking notes from written sources, you need to slow down and say to yourself, you're going to read sentence by sentence and ask yourself, is there anything important in this sentence? If there is, you write it down. If there is not, you move on. Okay? In each paragraph, highlight or box in the keywords, circle them, whatever technique you like. You shouldn't have too many. You're leaving out all the little words. So you're looking for those main words only. At the end of each paragraph, write down the gist of the paragraph. And that'll keep you on track. Another thing you should do is be looking for graphic organizers that'll help you out. At the elementary level, I had a couple of graphic organizers I used. One was a circle with lots of circles around it. Then with written sources, usually I told them The key was, if you're writing on notebook paper, 1 note per line only. Don't write anything more than that. Number your notes. Okay, so those are some ideas that you can use. If you need graphic organizers, you can find them on the web easily. Just type in graphic organizers. The last thing you should realize is note-taking is not essay writing. It's not story writing. It's not project. That means that notes can be shared. So if you have friends that you're in the same class with, and you're all taking notes, and you're afraid that you missed something, chances are your friend got it. Chances are whatever they missed, you're going to get. So there's nothing wrong with sharing notes. That's why they have study sessions in college, so that people can share their notes and help each other out. Now, if you were just one of those people that just didn't pay attention in class and didn't take any notes, and your friend doesn't want to help you out, well, they have that right, because you obviously didn't take the time to do anything. But if everybody was working equally hard, then everybody can share what they learned. Okay? If you have any questions about this, you can email me at lahood@K12 or MarionGS, or you can call the school or come in, stop in if you're there, if you need assistance with this. All right, have a great night.